and it got really, really bad. And apparently he, it wasn't heroin. He ended up getting some fentanyl, killed him.
From being the best to being in their downtimes and facing a lot of challenges, celebrities usually have their episodes. One day, the media is talking about their massive successes, and the next thing they would talk about is either a tragic story or a scandal. Rick Harrison was one of the celebrities whose name was frequent in the papers and news. A lot happened in 2025 and 2026 that people are yet to know. So the question is, what really happened? Grab a snack as we explore the life of Rick and how he has lost everything. Rick Harrison's sons and the tragedies no one talks about. Rick Harrison, the star of the incredible show named Pawn Stars, is currently denying the claims that his son, Corey Harrison, needs a little financial assistance to pay for his medical bills following a serious motorcycle accident. Corey, who was 42 at that time, got involved in a severe crash in Tulum, Mexico, in late January, and this resulted in 11 broken ribs, internal bleeding, and a concussion. Aaron Chambers, who is Corey's friend, created a GoFundMe page to help with medical expenses. In response to the situation, which everyone kept talking about, Rick decided to address the GoFundMe on the 5th of March this year, stating, "Corey is a grown man, and he will deal with his life as he sees fit," according to 30 Mile Zone. This statement describes his belief in Corey's ability to manage his own affairs on his own after the accident. On Friday, the 6th of March, Rick strongly claimed that he had already covered all of Corey's medical expenses before the launch of the GoFundMe campaign. According to the media, he said, "As far as I know, I paid all of Corey's medical bills long before he put the GoFundMe out." He also added with a lot of emphasis, he is a grown man in his 40s, adding that Corey is responsible for how he handles his finances. Of course, he has to be responsible for everything, since he's no longer a kid. Both Corey and his friend did not immediately respond to people's requests for comments and justification or denial of the claims all over the media. Aaron only provided details about Corey's accident and recovery in the GoFundMe description. After the crash, the emergency team rushed him to a hospital in Playa del Carmen, where he spent 14 days before the financial pressure became too much. Once he got home, Corey reportedly experienced excruciating pain, and he needed a house doctor to administer IV fluids and opioid treatments, as explained in the fundraiser's description. He also stated that Corey was incredibly reluctant to take strong pain medication, especially after the loss of his brother, Adam, to an overdose just a year before. Adam, Rick's dear son, left the world due to opioid overdose in January 2024. According to Aaron, Corey's condition deteriorated, which led to dangerously low oxygen levels. He was subsequently taken to a medical facility 4 hours away, where doctors discovered that one of his ribs had completely separated and was pressing into his lung. Corey unfortunately went through 3 life-saving surgeries and had nearly 3 liters of blood drained from his chest cavity. Due to the seriousness of his injuries, he remained in the hospital for an additional 18 days before being discharged, as detailed in the GoFundMe campaign. After his departure from the hospital, Corey allegedly discovered that his medical bills exceeded a whopping sum of $100,000. In an effort to manage these expenses, he claimed to have emptied his bank account and withdrawn everything in his credit cards. His friend also emphasized the fact that being on television and part of Pawn Stars fame doesn't come with a built-in safety net for emergencies like this. Medical crises don't care about celebrity status. He also mentioned to TMZ that he is no longer officially affiliated with Pawn Stars, although he still receives residual checks from the reruns of the long-running series. He also noted that Corey is currently not strong enough to return to the U.S. for further treatment, speaking about the GoFundMe as a lifeline to get him through this extremely difficult period. Coincidentally, the accident happened just 1 day before Rick's wedding to Angie Polushkin in Cancun on the 26th of January, which prevented Corey from attending. He kept sharing updates with their fans through Instagram, posting pictures of himself in a hospital bed and expressing that he was feeling good, despite the internal injuries. Rick later confirmed the fact that he visited Corey in the hospital, expressing to Fox News, "It sucks that he didn't attend." Speaking of the demise of Adam, in January 2024, Rick also confirmed the tragic news of Adam's death, saying, "I can confirm Adam lost his life from opioid overdose." He talked about the seriousness of the opioid crisis in the country, noting, "It seems it is just flowing over the borders and nothing is being done about it. We must do better." The official cause of Adam's demise was confirmed by the coroner's office less than 2 months later, speaking about the growing concerns which surrounded the opioid epidemic. Rick paid tribute to his son on social media following the public announcement of his demise, stating, "You will always be in my heart. I love you, Adam." Adam is survived by a son named Colton, whom he shared with his ex-wife named Jennifer. To support Colton, the Harrison family built an education fund, which allowed fans to contribute in Adam's memory. In an interview with Graham Benzinger, Rick reflected on the memories he has about his son, talking about how he thinks about Adam every day. He shared, "In his 20s, he had illicit substance problems, and I put him in rehab so many times. Every time he'd be doing great, and then it would fall back. You hear the same story from a million people. It got really, really bad. And apparently, it wasn't opioid. He ended up getting some opioid that killed him." His remarks describe the devastating impact of addiction and the pain of losing a loved one to the opioid crisis. Adam was not featured on Pawn Stars, but he reportedly worked at the gold and silver pawn shop before the reality show launched in 2009. In an interview, Rick talked about the profound pain of losing a child, especially after losing his father at 2018, stating that there is nothing worse and that such a loss makes you second-guess everything. He also expressed thoughts of regret, pondering, "Could I have done something different?" Although he felt he had done all things right, he found himself caught in a lot of questions like, "What if I did this? What if I did this?" According to an incident report obtained by the New York Post, Adam had been incarcerated for several months before he moved into a guest house in the Las Vegas area, where he was found lifeless on the 19th of January, 2024. The Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, classifies opioid as a second-schedule controlled substance, noting that it is similar to opioid but about 100 times more potent. The agency also cautions that just 2 milligrams, less than a grain of salt, of this synthetic opioid can be lethal, depending on an individual's body size and speaking to the serious risks associated with its use. We have looked at his family's tragedy, from the demise of his father to the untimely demise of Adam, the arrest of Corey, and even the passing away of his mother. But there's more to unravel, especially with regards to his show. Let's look into his show that suddenly went silent. The show that went silent. At the beginning, Rick spent up to 4 years trying to pitch the idea of a reality show centered around his pawn shop after it was featured in a show named Insomniac with Dave Attell in 2003. But his initial efforts did not lead to success. In 2008, Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines from Left Field Pictures approached Rick with a concept for a reality show which is based in a Las Vegas pawn shop. He initially pitched the idea to HBO, but the network preferred a format compared to Taxicab Confessions, which focused on the gold and silver's night window. In February 2009, a YouTube video titled Pawn Star, featuring Corey Harrison, showed an incident where he threatened to gun down an intruder with a handgun he displayed. The video captured a lot of chaos as a woman was removed from the shop, screaming in anxiety over a wedding ring that her husband had sold to the store, showing some of the dramatic moments that would come to characterize the series. The show was originally titled Pawning History and later rebranded as Pawn Stars due to the suggestion of a staffer at Left Field playing off the term for adult movies in order to get greater marketing appeal. The show features Rick, his father Richard Harrison, affectionately known as the Old Man, his son Corey, known as Big Hoss, and Corey's childhood friend and employee named Austin Chumley Russell. In recognition of his efforts to educate everyone about the pawn industry, he got an award as the Pawnbroker of the Year by the National Pawnbrokers Association in 2010. In January 2011, Pawn Stars became one of the highest-rated programs on the History Channel and the second highest-rated reality show behind Jersey Shore. On the 7th of June that same year, Rick published a biography titled License to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, which immediately reached number 22 on the New York Times bestseller list on the 26th of June, which is about 19 days after publication. He also made guest appearances in very popular television shows. He appeared as himself, alongside his son Corey and Chumley, in the episode titled I Lost My Head in Vegas of the American TV series iCarly, which aired on the 3rd of November 2012. Just a few days later, on the 7th of November, he took on the role of an antique store owner in the episode The Safe of the TV series The Middle. These unique appearances cemented his presence in popular culture outside of his show. In January 2014, he became the spokesperson for the Micro Touch One razor, which was a personal care shaving product for men, appearing in a television commercial to advertise and promote the product line. In June 2014, the History Channel premiered United Stuff of America, which is a really interesting series produced by the creators of Pawn Stars. This show focused on notable artifacts which are linked to very important moments in history, featuring items such as the cane with which Andrew Jackson defended himself against a presidential assassin, the axe Abraham Lincoln used during his early days as a rail splitter, and the pencils Ulysses S. Grant used to draft his memoirs. In addition, on July 2014, the game show titled Pawnography debuted on the History Channel. This show featured Rick, Corey, and Chumley competing against other players in a lot of challenges to prevent them from winning cash and items from the gold and silver pawn shop's inventory. These projects deepened Rick's influence in pop culture while he further leveraged the popularity of Pawn Stars. In 2022, the first season of Pawn Stars Do America aired, featuring the three musketeers of the show, Rick, Corey, and Chumley, traveling across the United States to buy special items. By 2025, Rick and Chumley launched the Pawn Stars After Dark podcast, where they discussed behind-the-scenes stories from the pawn shop, including castmates and their guests. Although Corey has never officially left Pawn Stars during its 23-season run, he expressed that he has no intentions of returning if the show were to continue in any form. In an interview with the Las Vegas Review in February, he said, "At this stage of the game, we're all playing a character on Pawn Stars. I can't play another season of 41-year-old me pretending to be 23." He further stated, "At some point, you've got to prepare for the end. I'd be stupid not to be prepared. I look at it that way. I'm set up for the future. I've loved filming the show and being on the show, but the past few years have been rough. I'm ready to move on." This speaks to Corey's desire to transition to new opportunities and focus on his future endeavors. Corey confirmed that he was not having any discussions with the History Channel to renew his contract at that time. He also addressed his father's podcast, Pawn After Dark, saying, "They told me what they are doing, and I said, all right, cool, I'll pack it up. I'm moving to Mexico. You guys have fun out here and do what you want to do." He also remarked, "My dad will work till the day he collapses. That's just not me." This statement illustrates Corey's intention to take a different path and his decision to prioritize his own life choices and future, while acknowledging his father's relentless work ethic. This and many more led to the closure of the show, after a lot of deliberations. The show was on a temporary shutdown, but news has it that it was going to start again in February 2026. His show was so successful, but it almost ended. But what's more frightening and interesting is his personal life. Let's explore Rick's dramatic but sad personal life and what happened to his relationship with women. Richard's dramatic personal life. In the midst of what happened to his show and family, Rick recently got married to Angie Palushkin, which marked his fourth marriage. Although the couple appears to be happy, there are some signs from Rick's past marriages that raise eyebrows about this relationship and how long it will last. His first marriage was to Kim Harrison, lasting from 1982 to 1985, in which they had two sons, Corey and the late Adam. After their divorce, he married a woman named Tracy in 1986. This second marriage lasted significantly longer and ended in 2011. They welcomed a son named Jake together. Despite the longevity of his last marriage, he didn't remain single for long. In 2013, he married Deanna Burdett, but that marriage also ended in divorce in 2020. With 4 marriages behind him, the question of whether this latest union will stand the test of time remains open, especially due to his history with women. After his 3rd divorce, he took a brief break from dating and committed relationships before finding Angie Polushkin, whom he believes to be the one for him. The couple expresses their intention to stay together forever. However, despite Rick's cheerful and optimistic perception when entering each marriage, there are noticeable red flags in his relationship history. His 4 marriages lasted for approximately 40 years, but it's obvious that he tends to dive headfirst into new relationships, with the time from meeting to marrying being short. Although he has not provided a lot of detail about how his first 2 marriages started, the situation surrounding his 3rd and 4th marriages have been under public criticism. This pattern may raise concerns about the sustainability of his relationships, even though he is currently optimistic. In response to questions and inquiries from Graham Benzinger, Rick stated, "I'm happy, and every time I thought it was forever, okay?" When discussing the financial implications of his marriage's sudden end, he remarked, "You know what? You can take half my money, and I can still live like a king for the rest of my life." You can tell from the wealth and popularity of Pawn Stars that his argument is credible. While he appeared confident in his view about his marriage, Graham attempted to challenge him, saying, "I have been told that when it comes to your personal life, you're confrontation-averse." Rick admitted this was true, responding, "Yes, I am. If it doesn't work out, like..." This incredible exchange reveals a level of self-awareness in him about his relationship patterns and how he tried to navigate personal challenges. He views his perspective on relationships as positive, but he could likely avoid difficulties by considering a prenup before entering another marriage. However, given his all-in attitude, he might be very reluctant to acknowledge the possibility of failure in a relationship once again. Everything appeared to be going smoothly between him and his 3rd wife, Deanna Burdett, for many years. So, news of their divorce in 2021 came as a shock to fans, especially since they had allegedly been separated for a year before the announcement. This unexpected turn raises questions again about the challenges that can arise in seemingly stable relationships. TMZ reported on August 2021 that Rick and Deanna's divorce was a secret affair. According to legal documents gotten by the publication, he filed for divorce on the 1st of July 2020. What caught people's attention was a statement in the filings, which suggested a reason for the split, which also read that the former couple's tastes, mental dispositions, views, likes, and dislikes have become so divergent that they have become incompatible in marriage. Deanna firstly responded to the divorce filings by requesting alimony, but it seems they quickly resolved their differences and finalized the divorce 3 months later. Neither Rick nor Deanna publicly announced their split, which is surprising because of Rick's high-profile public-facing life. However, he offered a brief comment to TMZ saying that the marriage didn't work out, and the divorce was a mutual decision. As for his relationship with Angie Polushkin, the question still lingers whether fans would know if they ever faced a similar situation. Due to his history with marriage and divorce, the way he navigates his personal life in the future may continue to tickle public fancy and curiosity. What do you think about Rick Harrison, and what made him lose everything in 2026? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. To enjoy more exciting videos, click play on the video on your screen. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when a new video drops.